Learn how to love yourself first and the life that you want to live. Because you might end up in a situation where you put their needs above yours. If you don't love who you are, if you don't know who you are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Now also on screen, not just in audio. I'm your host, Monica Cotolan, and hopefully you're next subscribe. If you like it, of course. Okay. We're back. It's been a while since you heard from me. If you listened to the podcast before, if you are new here, welcome. And thank you for listening and for being part of the podcast community, where the biggest aim is to promote authenticity. Because when we are in our true selves, our life aligns as well with our core values, and we gain the power to manifest that life that we truly desire. Now, if you're ready to own your life and become the master of it, the creator of it, you are in the right place. Let's fall back in love with life and ourselves. This is the topic episode for today. This is what I am doing at the moment, and it's such a source of pure power because it comes from within. But to get there, it takes clarity. Clarity onto what makes you feel like you. In order to get clarity on that matter, I will ask you a few questions that you should answer with complete honesty. So take your time. When in life do you feel most like yourself? How does it look like? Where are you? And what are you doing? When was the last time you felt most like yourself, that it made you feel so super alive that it was like an extreme happy moment? I want you to actually dig this question because the answer is going to reflect the exact direction you should focus on most in order to be able to fall back in love with your life and live intentionally instead of feeling constantly like you don't live the life you're supposed to. And we've all been there. So I'm going to start with just saying, just start over. For real, if your current life isn't the life you love or want to actually live, build a new life. Just build a new life, the life you desire. This includes leaving behind everything that isn't resonating or bringing you where you want to be in life, including jobs, people, relationships, maybe cities, even countries. It can include changing behaviors, obviously, habits or beliefs or thinking patterns. Reprogramming yourself, it's a must. Otherwise, it's almost like you have a good computer, but with an old software programming, You will not be able to move at the right speed, at the speed that you need in order to get where you want. Or maybe you just won't because you don't have the necessary settings so you can even have it at all. And that's why you must do whatever necessary to make yourself what you need, in order to get you the life that you want. I had to do that in order to be on the path that I am today and be able to do what I love now. And what I want, maybe someday soon. I had to sacrifice my old life. That's why I was not creating content to such a long time, because I want to walk the talk, And for a while, I just couldn't. Because there were certain things which were holding me back. I quitted my job that I had for the past 5 years, and it was not serving me anymore. I hated it. I moved in a different city that I can feel more like myself and have the right environment for my creativity, where I can meet the kind of people I like to be around and get inspired more and expand. I gave myself a year in which I will only focus 100% on what I am good at, like doing podcast content and reach out as many listeners as possible. Of course, there will come a lot of sacrifices. I have to live on a small daily budget since I'm not working a job anymore. I'm selling my car. That was my dream car and still is. But it's better because I am attached to my car. It was the first prize, though. The first prize I gave myself for the hard work since I moved to Germany. And this is not the first time I am letting my old self die in order to become who I am supposed to be and live in my truth. It's the only way. I left countries before. I started a new life in Ireland when I was just 18 years old. It's not impossible. 5 years ago, I left a relationship that was 7 years old while I was engaged because I couldn't be myself anymore. And I couldn't become who I wanted to be. Even though I didn't want to do it, I moved to Germany and I started over again with my life. And it was very uncomfortable, very lonely, especially in the beginning. I was all just by myself, but it was what I had to do. It's what I needed because I didn't want it to be a victim of my life. And I'm sure you don't want that either. Now I'm going to bring up a very important thing for you to have in check if you want to change your life. Boundaries. Boundaries for mastering life. No matter what you have to master, boundaries need to come first. In relationships, at work, with yourself as well. Boundaries help you get out of your survival mode. How else you are on your way if not by respecting your boundaries? You would probably feel like a bitch if you would step on all of your boundaries or even on some of them, at least my case. It feels excruciating. And a lot of us do this in relationships, for example, in order to keep the peace or make our partners happy. But every time when we break our boundaries, we are stepping out of alignment with who we are and whatever we get to experience. For example, if you step on a boundary, even if it's for your boyfriend so that the relationship works, what's actually happening is you are teaching him or her how to treat you. And you are gonna get just that. It will be keep happening, keep repeating, and next time they do something that requires you to break your boundaries, and you will just start losing yourself in the relationship. That's horrible. For a relationship that you don't actually enjoy, if you have to sacrifice boundaries that are supposed to be there to keep you, authentic and in sync with what you want to experience and with the life you want to get. When we people please and we don't have any boundaries, we're actually doing that because we want to survive. So if this is you think you need to do people pleasing because you think that if you lose them, you won't survive, but you will. But this is just because if you think that if you lose them, you won't survive, but you will. But this is just a survival mode, and you don't want to just survive. You want to thrive and be happy. That's why you are here right now. And I know it takes a lot to take yourself out of that place, but let me tell you this. If people don't respect your boundaries, it means they don't love you. They are not your people. You deserve to be loved without being in a constant state of survival just to keep them around. Like for what? I would never, not anymore, I mean. Now, another important advice I have for you is that people in our life are mirroring us and we are mirroring them. We attract the people we resonate with or interact with the most. So choose your people intentionally. Be around people who lift you up, around people you feel comfortable being yourself and that inspire you to be the best version you could possibly be. Otherwise, you will be drained and distracted. And we don't want to be distracted. That's why we're here. Top tier advice I heard is that what we consume consumes us as well. Have you ever heard the saying, what you see, you saw? Well, it's just like that with what you allow yourself to consume. What you eat plays an important role in your health, energy levels, and your mood. If you have a balanced diet, for example, you will not get consumed or affected. Same goes with everything else, like the kind of content you watch in social media. It shapes your thoughts. The kind of conversations you have with people also can either drain your energy if it's the kind of conversation like gossiping, or it can inspire you. Your relationship can either be good for you or consume you, especially the relationship you have with yourself. Especially that relationship that you have with yourself. That should come first above anything or anyone else. And I hope I'm gonna be able to make more episodes about that because I have so much to say. Also, it's so important to make a decision, Make the decision that you want to love yourself and the desire to create a life that you love. Decision, it's such a powerful thing. Learning how to love your life again, it's easier when you create a vision for your life. How can you love your life if you aren't clear about what you want? Taking care of yourself, it's critical to loving your life again and again. Ensure that you eat well and ensure that you get enough sleep. For me, sleep is so important nowadays. I'm clearly getting old. If you want to know how to love your life again after a challenging life change, examine your past. In fact, make a list of all of your past successes, reminding yourself that you've been successful at managing changes in the past so you can get motivation again. If you want to love your life even more, remind yourself what allows you to access emotions like delight and joy, and do more of that. Very important piece of advice is to not try to love someone else before you. Learn how to love yourself first and the life that you want to live, because you might end up in a situation where you put their needs above yours. If you don't love who you are, if you don't know who you are. In my case, I'm literally only interested in a love that feels like choosing them, feels like I'm choosing myself. That's how it should be. And that's the only way it's gonna be for me. And I hope for you. You don't want to choose someone else over yourself or follow their perception of a life to enjoy just because you don't, or just because you haven't tried to create that by yourself. It's like we borrow the version of a loving life and we become attached to a dream that's not ours. I did this mistake. It's human because no one teaches us these kind of things. And why am I saying this? Because once you are in a relationship with a man or a woman, it involves a lot of energy, time, efforts, and agreements. And in order for that to work out, we need to remember why we start a relationship. Don't start a relationship just because you think you're in love. Start the relationship because you've understood in your bones that the highest purpose of an actual relationship is to grow and evolve. And nothing grows or evolves in the absence of peace or challenge, especially challenge. You must be completely honest with your situation. Like, don't empathize your best sides. Don't suppress your fragile sides either. Show everything without fear. That is who you are. And if any fear arises, have the courage to talk about them. Because you want someone who loves and supports you for who you are, not for the masks you could still wear to pretend to be someone else you think is more lovable. That is such a sad scenario. You deserve to be loved for who you are. Start a relationship because you want to make your life with someone else meaningful, not just by yourself. You don't just want the easy or the fun parts, or you want to just have fun and distractions. No, you want to complement their joy. You want to hear their struggles. You want to see them win, and you want to be by their side when they pick themselves up after a loss, maybe. You know that conflict is inevitable. But you also know that nothing creates a stronger bond than overcoming disagreements and finding ways to work together. Because this isn't a bond that only relies on dopamine. And that's why most people who fast get into a relationship, they fail quickly. Because after the rose-colored glasses are wearing off and they're not in love anymore, and all of that chemistry thing is gone, well, there's no more dopamine there anymore unless you create it, unless you build it. What you seed, you sow. But I guess this concludes today's episode. I was a bit nervous. This was the first time that I was filming a video with myself only. And I'm happy that I did it. I'm gonna be here again with more episodes soon. And I'm very excited for this journey. I hope you're doing well this week. I hope that my words reached you. And I hope that you're going to ask yourself what makes you feel most like yourself. It's so important. Keep doing that. Keep doing that with passion and with love and with intention. Please. All right, I'm going to see you next week with a new episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you like to share the episode with someone else, I would be very grateful. And don't forget to press the subscribe button. Thank you. Bye-bye. I love you.